Hello everyone, my name is Harris and I'm here as the first speaker of government team. So the Mosi debate for today is this House movement heavily prioritizing a local agenda over a global one focusing on local pollution rather than climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will discuss the problems that are happening in our country, problems related to the life of the people in Indonesia and have a huge impact on the life of people in Indonesia. And why do we focusing this problem and why don't we focus the problems out there? Because the local problem is being experienced by us and have a huge impact, and also we are the one who feel the impact. And by discussing this problem, we can resolve this problem as soon as possible, and that do not have the bad impact on the people in Indonesia.
Yeah.
By discussing cases that are happening in our country, it will make our eyes open what is happening around us. And also, why should we find out about the case in other country if the case in our own country can be resolved as soon as possible? Like recently, Indonesia itself has a wealth of natural resources that are very much spread throughout the island, like such as a forest that can be utilized for us. But recently, the forest fire in Indonesia cannot be stopped. The impact creates a lot of smoke and eventually make a pollution in the air. Okay, I will explain the problem facing Indonesia lately, the problem that affects many residents in Jakarta. That is very familiar. That is pollution is happening in Jakarta. Yeah, Jakarta, the city with a very grand and luxurious, many tall skyscrapers, but behind it are very serious problem in it. It's experiencing a very high air pollution quality recently. Air quality in Indonesia has fallen throughout 2023 to the present moment. Overall, air pollution levels in Jakarta in 2023 were arguably in the worst record since 2019. Suspended particulate matter or SPM values in Jakarta indicated a serious problem based on World Health Organization. SPMs are fine particles derived from the combustion of fossil fuels that float in the air, relatively for a long period of time. Breathing in unlikely levels of PM 2.5 can increase the risk of health problems like heart disease, asthma, and also low birth weight. Particle pollution can come from outdoor and indoor sources. According to a study published by Energy Public Institute or EPIC from University of Chicago, in the last 10 years, there has been an increase in fine pollution in the air of Jakarta and its surrounding increased by 30%. So what we have to do to resolve this problem, the first one is we apply vehicle emission tests. Like the first, by conducting emission tests on motorized vehicle, the government has implied several times that motor vehicle emissions are the biggest contribution to the pollution in the capital city of Jakarta. To be exactly, is 44%. The data from Jakarta Central Bureau of Statistics shows that in 2021, there were 21.8 million motorized vehicles in the city, with around 3 million commuters traveling daily, mostly using private vehicles, according to Polda Metro Jaya. However, less than 500,000 vehicles participated in emission check last year, according to data from Jakarta Environment Agency. Realizing that motor vehicles are the main cause of pollution, reducing emissions from vehicle exhaust gases through emission test is a priority and direction from a president that must be implemented immediately. Emission testing is a method to assess engine performance and combustion efficiency in motor vehicle. This test is conducted in accordance with laws and regulations. The emission test is a crucial check to determine the combustion efficiency on the vehicle engine and the level of pollution produced. The second one is using public transportation. The government needs to limit the use of the private vehicles, which has been a source of air pollution in Jakarta recently. This is because motorized vehicles are the one of the causes of air pollution. The high ownership on motorized vehicle must be limited by number of government regulations, so as not it cause a high emission which inevitably result in unhealthy air quality. Indonesia Health Minister Budi has called the public to use public transportation as an effort to reduce emission vehicle. And also Sadikin remind residents to reduce the use of private vehicle and switch to public transportation. In Jakarta itself, there are a lot of public transportation that can be used in the public like Transjakarta, LRT, MRT, and many other transportation. One way to reduce air pollution caused by motor vehicle is to prioritize public transportation in daily activities. Public transportation provides benefit to society and development of area. And by using public transportation, we contributed to reducing the number of vehicles on the road. This will have an impact on reducing emission. And also by using public transportation, the pollution in Jakarta is reduced due to decrease in the use of private vehicles and making the roads in the city of Jakarta less congested. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Aurora, as the head opposition of today's motion. And I want to state that I disagree that local crisis must be prioritized before global crisis. As we all know, we are now facing some serious environmental issues such as pollution, loss of biodiversity, and climate change. We are the ones who caused it, and we are the ones who feel the impacts too. Lately, these issues have been affecting human life throughout the world seriously. I state that I disagree with the argument that had been conveyed by the Prime Minister that we have to focus on prioritizing local problems such as pollution in Jakarta. We cannot focus only on one local issue because that means we are ignoring the fact that there are lots of pollution sources from other countries that cross the country border by the air cycle, and it requires a global solution. Like the massive eruption of Mount Krakatau in 1883, which caused a lot of destructions, and definitely a local impact, but also a huge impact globally. On August 27, 1883, the eruption of Krakatau was followed by a large tsunami wave carrying volcanic materials that has reached as far as Africa or beyond about a quarter of the earth. Meanwhile, the sound of Krakatau eruption reached Sri Lanka and west part of Karachi, Perth, and east part of Sydney. Besides, Krakatau eruption also caused changes in air temperature and world climate, like the climate change that occurred in Japan, Europe, and the United States. Based on the research data in 2012 by USGS, volcanic gases and climate change overview, the atmosphere was darkened because it was covered in volcanic ash, so most of the sunlight cannot penetrate the atmosphere to reach the Earth's surface, causing downfall of the Earth temperature as much as 2 degrees Celsius, and climate change drastically at that time, where the cold season was happening longer than the summer season. From this case, we can see that some regional phenomenon could cause a huge global impact. This case is enough for us to be aware of the importance of global approach in dealing with environmental crisis. We should focus on finding solutions globally, not locally, because most of the pollutants that are caused by other countries will affect our country as well. Many air pollutants such as dust particles and industrial chemicals can travel long distances across countries. There are some cases to prove that pollution in one region could cause a serious impact to other regions, even globally, such as the air pollutants in China that cross its border to another country, like South Korea and Japan. Based on Chia and Ku combined research in 2019 that highlights the critical link between China's pollution and Asian dust, it shows that China's pollution has a significant impact on death rates in South Korea, mainly related to respiratory disease and cardiovascular. With that conservative estimate, there is an increase of 12 in China's average air quality index, or AQI, equivalent with 1 standard deviation in the sample, resulting an increase of 0.33% from the average level in South Korean respiratory and cardiovascular disease. Also, the acid rain phenomenon, when it was the most well-known environmental problem in Europe from 1970 until 1980, and then the Deepwater Horizon oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico in 2010 that caused a lot of damage, which includes the waters of several countries. If there are huge impacts that felt by human lives on an international scale, there must be some solutions, policies, and programs that have to be undertaken by everyone globally, not only regional, because long-term effectiveness is needed to solve this serious issue compared to solving a local issue separately. We have to do cooperation between countries as well because it can bring us to advanced resources, technologies, and knowledge. In addition, Jakarta's pollution can be tackled by this cooperation, and ignoring collaboration could actually delay the progress of solving Jakarta's pollution. If we look out to international programs such as Paris Agreement in 2015, which was aimed to hold back the increasement of global temperature and was being signed by a lot of countries with high emission levels such as United States, China, Russia, and many other countries, including our lovely country, Indonesia. This agreement is the legal basis for implementation so that climate change control at the international level becomes universal and must be implemented and legally binding on all contracting states. As the result, Paris Agreement brings positive impact. According to the data shown by United Nations Climate Change that a few years since its entry, it had already sparked low-carbon solutions and new markets. More and more countries, cities, regions, and companies are establishing carbon neutrality targets. Zero-carbon solutions are becoming competitive across economic sectors, representing 25% of emissions. And by 2030, zero-carbon solutions could be competitive in sectors representing over 70% of global emissions. Overcoming the environmental crisis globally not only provides local benefits for those countries who are giving its best actions, but also ensures environmental justice and sustainability for all countries. A focus on global solutions like the Paris Agreement and other international programs help strengthen local actions such as reducing air pollution in Jakarta in a more effective and sustainable way, because global challenges require global solutions. Thank you.
Okay everyone, my name is PUTRA. I'm the third speaker of the government team. Today, I'm going to summarize what the government Prime Minister just stated and the head of opposition just stated. So, the first one, I will summarize what the government Prime Minister just stated. So, what the Prime Minister stated were the local problem, especially in our country, was more important because it was more impactful than the global problem. Why? Because the local problem in our country was more relatable and closer to our life. We can have a direct impact on the problem that exists in our country, especially in Jakarta. He said that Jakarta was exposed to the high level of pollution. It was stated that the pollution city of Jakarta was the worst than the previous years. It was being said that in 2023 were arguably the worst recorded pollution since 2019. The Prime Minister said there are few points that he gave. He stated that we have to apply vehicle emission tests, realizing that motor vehicles are the main cause of pollution. Reducing emission from vehicle exhaust gases to emission tests is a priority and direction from the President that must be implemented immediately. For what he stated, he also said the emission test is a crucial check to determine the combustion efficiency of the vehicle engine and the level of pollutants produced. The second point was he said that we have to start use of public transportation more often. The government needs to limit the use of private vehicles, which have been source of air pollution in Jakarta area lately. This is because motorized vehicles are one of the causes of air pollution, he said. He also stated there are a lot of public transportation that can be used by public. There are Transjakarta buses, LRT, MRT, and many others means of transportation. By using public transportation, we contribute to reducing the number of vehicles on the road. This will have an impact on reducing emission. So right now, I'm gonna summarize what the head of opposition just stated. The head of opposition just stated, first of all, she stated we can't focus on the local one issue because that means we are ignoring the fact that there are a lot of pollution sources from other countries. The country bordered by the air cycle and it requires a global solution. She gave an example statement. She said, the massive eruption of Mount Krakatau in 1883, which causes a lot of destruction and definitely a local impact, but also a huge impact globally, carrying volcanic material that has reached as far as Africa or beyond about the quarter of the earth. The sound of Krakatau eruption reached Sri Lanka and west part of Karachi, Perth and east part of Sydney. That's why she said that the local issue causes because of the bigger global issue, which means we have to focus on global issue first than the local. And the next statement is because most of the pollutants that are caused by other countries will affect our country as well. Many air pollutants such as dust, particle, and industrial chemical can travel long distance across countries, she said. The air pollutants from China that cross its border to another country like South Korea and Japan, it shows that China's pollution has a significant impact on that rate in South Korea, mainly related to respiratory disease and cardiovascular. She also said there are a huge impact that felt by human lives on the international scale. There must be some solution, policy, and program that we have to be undertaken by everyone globally, not only regional. Because long-term effectiveness is needed to solve the serious issue compared to solving a local issue separately. She said that we have to do cooperation between countries as well because it can bring us to advanced resources, technologies, and knowledge. Now, I want to give my opinion on this topic. If we focus first on the problem occur globally, it will make us become less concerned with the problem in our own country. It is true that the biggest factor of pollution in Indonesia comes from abroad. But if we focus more on how to solve problems starting from global problem, will not complicate the problem in our country. It is true that by dealing with global problems, first we will gain more technology and knowledge, but will not slow down the pace at which we tackle our country's problem. How long do we have to wait to work together to solve the problem in the global that we don't even know how it affect our own country? Why should we care about the problem that exists outside? We should be more concerned and prioritize our own country, the country that we build, the country that we know inside and out. We have a full knowledge and about our country. Don't focus on the outside, but focus on the inside. There are so many environmental problems that we have to deal with. There are already too many problems in our country. Why should we care about global problems that we don't even have an impact on? Forest fire, lack of fish, vehicle pollution, garbage waste, and many more. And that's why we have to focus on what is possible to improve. Focus on what is within our grasp, within our control. With that we can overcome and start focusing first on the local problems that exist in our own country. Focus on a small thing, it will get into a big thing. Thank you.